I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as your mama dead as Go dig her up. Go dig her up.
50 Cent straight up ignited a storm targeting King Harris and the whole internet exploded. King hopped on live and unleashed pure fury like never before. Then Boosie rolled and dropping heavy smoke real talk that caught King and T.I. completely off guard. Things turned chaotic real quick here, how the madness kicked off. But listen, when you start dragging someone's late parents into the beef, you've crossed a boundary that's damn near impossible to uncross. 50 Cent went way overboard this time, and that's exactly why King lost his cool. In hip-hop, some lines stay sacred no matter what. You can clown a dude's music, his receding hairline, his outfits, even his weak sales numbers, that standard battle rap energy. But there's one unbreakable code baked into the culture since day one. Even the most unhinged spitters honor it: never pull family into the crossfire. No shots at a man's wife, kids, or inner circle. That zone is forbidden, full stop. This beef smashed right through that limit, and that's why social media is in meltdown mode. You don't touch nobody's mama, that's rule number one, etched in stone forever. Keep the smoke strictly between the ones actually clashing. Simple. Yet on February 22, 2026, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson shattered that rule live for everyone to see. What followed was straight pandemonium, one of the most raw, personal, and uneasy messes hip-hop has witnessed in ages.
But man, when you start talking about people's deceased parents, you crossing a line that's hard to come back from.
For weeks, 50 Cent and T.I. had been trading online jabs about Versa's matchups and heavy snitch claims, keeping the energy at that familiar heated rap beef level. Two legends playfully roasting each other across social media like fans have watched a million times, until 50 Cent decided to go nuclear by hopping on Instagram, dropping an intentionally unflattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tameka Tiny Harris, and hitting her with the brutal caption, "Pure humiliation," right in front of millions, basically ordering her to stay out of grown men's business in the most disrespectful, zero-subtlety way possible. A direct strike at someone totally outside the original beef, instantly flipping the entire situation from standard industry shade into raw, personal, family-level chaos that turned everything upside down from that exact moment onward.
Straight like that. Your son don't love you. You don't got no family.
T and Tiny's 21-year-old son, King Harris, caught sight of that vicious post and instantly snapped. He didn't sit back waiting for his father to respond or drop some calculated statement. He handled it himself, right then and there, ready to protect his family's honor on the spot. No family meeting, no strategy session, nothing. King stormed straight onto Instagram Live and unleashed an absolute torrent on 50 Cent so ferocious, it made the entire internet hit pause. Timelines froze mid-scroll because what came out of his mouth next was straight fire nobody anticipated. This wasn't a simple comeback. King escalated to nuclear levels in seconds. Without a shred of mercy, he zeroed in on 50 Cent's oldest, deepest wound, his mother, Sabrina Jackson, who tragically passed when Curtis was only 8 years old, a loss that molded the man he became. The young Atlanta native held zero back. His fury poured out live, raw and unfiltered, in front of thousands glued to their screens. He straight up declared, "If 50 wanna play dirty and drag somebody's mom into the spotlight, then go ahead and post your own mama." The chat went dead quiet after that line landed. Everyone instantly understood the gravity. No polish, no second guessing, just pure, unbridled emotion exploding in real time.
Post a picture of your mama because she dead. Pay respect. Stop playing with my mama. Playing like that, going like that.
You could sense the shift instantly. The beef had turned deeply personal in a heartbeat. What began as typical online clowning suddenly felt weighted, raw, irreversible, the kind of clash that scars relationships between men for life. King doubled down, voice booming with zero chill, stressing that the way he was raised would never allow him to stay silent while someone trashed the woman who brought him into this world. He shouted it loud. T.I. raised him, so he's wired completely different, built tougher, loyal to the core, and he wanted every viewer to witness that truth live. Then he dropped the chilling warning shot, "Tell your daddy." Those 3 words weren't casual, they were a direct missile aimed at 50 Cent and anybody riding with him, crystal clear that the family line had been crossed and King wasn't retreating an inch. But he wasn't finished. He pivoted straight to another gaping wound in 50's armor, his long, public, fractured bond with his own son, Marquise Jackson, a saga the whole hip-hop world has watched unfold messily for years. King struck with surgical precision, twisting hard. All those millions, blockbuster shows, power plays, luxury deals, and mansions mean absolutely nothing if you're rattling around in that big empty house surrounded by zero real family. The blow landed heavier because it wasn't rap bravado or chart talk anymore. It was a merciless spotlight on 50's actual existence, stripping away the facade. The internet felt the sting. This wasn't battle bars or industry shade. This was straight-up personal demolition, a whole new tier of warfare.
Yeah, raised, I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mom. I'm not going.
King laid it all out plain and simple, his position, his reasoning, his unbreakable stance. He made sure the world remembered his roots run bone deep. This isn't some random young dude flexing online for clout. He's operating straight off the code he was drilled with growing up. But King Harris wasn't content with just words. On February 24, 2026, he locked in at the studio and unleashed a full-scale scorched earth diss record titled Man, blasting it across every major streaming service the same day. The visual, pure flames shot raw in an underground parking garage lined with gleaming exotics. King rocked a blood-red hoodie and matching beanie, eyes blazing, delivering venomous bars with zero mercy. He closed the hook with ice-cold precision. "Talkin' on my mama, I tell Chaz ring the alarm, probably cross his legs and fold his arms, I don't play about my mama, period." That line sealed it. No games, no retreat, just straight family over everything energy that hit like a freight train.
Not love. You rich, but you not love. Money means nothing without no one to spend it with. Your son don't love you.
Interview 6. Here's a fresh, unique rewrite in completely new words and flow. Every single bar King dropped felt like a precision missile. No filler, no bluff, just pure conviction locked in tight. He owned every syllable like it was carved in stone, zero doubt, zero pause. Then he cranked it up even more viciously. He dug up an ancient, sketchy photo of 50 Cent gripping what appeared to be an adult toy, slapped on the caption "No AI" to shut down any fake claims, and let it rip across the timeline. Absolute pandemonium. King had flipped the switch to total annihilation mode, zero breaks, zero mercy, zero backing down. The whole web was glued, devouring every explosive exchange in real time. And right in the thick of that wildfire, Boosie Badazz stepped into the frame. When hip-hop catches fire this hot, opinions flood in, from A-list MCs to your local barber to the uncle still rocking FUBU at the bodega. But Boosie's word carries a different gravity. He's no clout-chasing keyboard warrior. This is a man forged in real trenches, survived Angola's brutal system, lived and breathed street principles his entire existence, never once softened his tongue for clout or consequence. When Boosie opens his mouth, the culture leans in close because what comes out is unfiltered gospel. He started by giving King his full understanding. That's his mama, fam. Boosie gets it on a soul level, where he's from, and honestly anywhere real family values still exist, your mother is untouchable territory. Not up for discussion, not negotiable, not optional, that's iron law. You don't toy with a man's mama and expect it to stay just rap. Boosie broke it down crystal clear. This whole storm ignited the second someone violated that sacred boundary. Cross into family terrain and the game mutates overnight. It's no longer about streams, likes, or clever disses. You've entered blood territory, and blood rewrites every rule on contact. Rap battles have invisible fences, family feuds don't. That's exactly why Boosie's perspective struck deepest. He yanked the whole conversation back to the primal truth that some lines run far deeper than any beat or rhyme. Touch family and you're playing in a zone that's raw, volatile, and unforgiving. He gave King straight respect for the steel in his spine. Props to the young cat for having the courage to defend his bloodline against anybody, no matter the size of the opponent. That brand of ride-or-die loyalty is endangered these days, and Boosie clocked it instantly, saluting it loud. But right after that nod of admiration, his tone took a sharp left turn.
I don't play by my mama. At the end of I don't play by my mama. I'm just how I'm raised, nigga. I wasn't raised by y'all father. My dad is TIP, Tip. That's how I'm raised. I don't play like this.
Boosie fully grasped why King erupted with such fury. He respected that protective instinct, but he couldn't caution the exact route the young man took, keeping it 100 from the opening bar. 50 Cent was the original arsonist by hauling Tiny, who wasn't even in the fight, into the crosshairs, striking the first forbidden match that inevitably detonated everything else. And while Boosie refused to sugarcoat reality, he straight up reminded the culture what's been obvious forever. 50 Cent has reigned as the undisputed online bully for over 20 years, crafting an entire legacy around relentless trolling and engineered chaos, targeting Ja Rule, Rick Ross, The Game, Fat Joe, and now T.I.'s entire circle with the same calculated playbook. Prod until they snap, then flip their explosion into viral spectacle. But this time King Harris retaliated with a ferocity and depth the internet simply wasn't prepared to handle. A completely elevated tier of heat that even Boosie, a veteran of hip-hop's wildest verbal wars, openly called a whole different level. And coming from someone who's dropped some of the rawest, most unfiltered lines ever recorded, that acknowledgement carried massive weight. King wasn't merely reacting. He was fiercely guarding his mother's honor, making it unmistakably clear that Tiny Harris is off-limits for jokes, memes, or clout chasing. and anyone who disrespects family should brace for real repercussions. Yet in channeling that righteous anger to defend her legacy, he inadvertently crossed into territory so profound and irreversible that even Boosie, a man who's seen and survived nearly every shade of chaos, had to pause and feel the room grow thick, heavy, shadowed, and oppressively tense as he replayed those words aloud and described the vibe as dark and weighty. Then he delivered the single, brutal truth the entire culture desperately needed. There's an ancient, unbreakable line in this game, and the moment you drag a deceased mother into rap beef, you've rocketed far beyond entertainment, past apologies, past reconciliations, past any form of reset, into permanent, irreparable damage where scars never fade. Boosie didn't stop at that warning. He highlighted the glaring mismatch screaming through the saga. A rookie barely stepping into the arena willingly squaring up against one of the most seasoned, ruthless, decades-honed digital destroyers the culture has ever known. A man who's turned online annihilation into both art form and career.
First off, you gotta understand where King coming from. That's his mama, man.
From Ja Rule to Rick Ross to The Game and countless others, 50 Cent always emerges from these wars seemingly unscathed, never truly taking a lasting L. Boosie pointed out that King likely didn't fully clock that reality before going full meltdown on live. He was stepping into the ring with a master who doesn't play by conventional rules. 50 Cent doesn't even need a classic win in the traditional sense. He just has to clown you publicly, spin you into a viral punchline, meme fuel, and let the swarm of the internet handle the demolition from there. He's been perfecting that exact ruthless, low-effort domination tactic since way before King Harris was old enough to even own a smartphone.
You can't be out here playing with a man mama and think it's just gonna be rappers rap.
Boosie's caution cut way deeper than just online drama or viral clapbacks. It was a raw, street-level reality check about the very real fallout that follows when words turn into actions. He laid it out plain and brutal. If King kept barreling down the same reckless path, actual jail time wasn't a maybe. It was damn near inevitable. Boosie wasn't reaching or hyping. He's lived long enough, survived too much, and watched too many beefs leap from screens straight into concrete to sugarcoat the danger. His point hit hard and clear. This stopped being entertainment the moment family got dragged in, and King better grasped that truth fast before the streets forced the lesson on him the hard way. Boosie wasn't talking just as another rapper in the game, he spoke straight from the gut as a father who's already walked his own son, Tootie Raw, through the same fire. He'd already sat down with his boy, the boy's mother, even the grandma, and spelled it out crystal. That kind of wild, unchecked energy always ends up the same, one-way ticket behind bars. That wasn't armchair advice or tough guy posturing. It was blood-earned wisdom from someone who's actually done the time and knows exactly what happens when your tongue cashes checks your life can't cover. But even after dropping that heavy father-to-father truth bomb, the whole situation only spiraled into deeper mess from there.
King of YN, he got that fire in him, and he let it be known he ain't going for none of that.
Boosie's son Tootie Raw couldn't stay out of it. He dove straight in, firing off posts loaded with threats aimed at King Harris while barking at him to mind his own damn business and stay in his own corner. But if you know anything about King's character, silence was never gonna happen. He instantly swung back hard at both Boosie and Tootie, ripping into Boosie's street authenticity and flat-out demanding who the hell appointed him judge over anybody else's moves. In one swift exchange, the beef sprouted a whole new limb. Boosie's entire squad was now locked into the war zone. What began as a straight-up two-way clash between legends had ballooned into a full-blown multi-family battlefield with fresh faces piling into the frenzy nonstop. And the layers get even thicker. Boosie and T.I.'s relationship has never been spotless or loyal behind the scenes. In past interviews, Boosie has publicly accused T.I. of flipping for the feds, cutting deals with law enforcement to shave off serious time, straight up labeling him with the street's harshest tag, and he even swore he had receipts and documents to prove it. So when Boosie drops commentary on this whole saga, don't mistake him for some unbiased peacemaker pouring oil on troubled waters. He's walking and carrying his own long-simmering beef, personal grudges, and unresolved tension with T.I.'s name. Yet even with all that baggage hanging over him, Boosie still drew the line crystal clear. 50 Cent crossed an absolute red zone boundary the second he dragged family into the spotlight. That's exactly why, personal history or not, his perspective lands with unmatched force and slices through the noise in a way nobody else's does.
You got 50 Cent posting pictures of Tiny on his Instagram, trolling her.
Because his perspective carries real weight, he's a man who's navigated every corner of this unforgiving street code world, survived its harshest lessons, and still recognizes instantly when someone's crossed into unforgivable territory. Boosie proved he could stay brutally honest across the board, calling out flaws on every side without hesitation, while simultaneously showing empathy for the raw motivations driving each person's actions. But to truly wrap your head around how this entire mess exploded into absolute bedlam, you have to hit rewind and trace it back properly. Because right now, if you're sitting there stunned, asking yourself how a casual back and forth about a Versus matchup somehow devolved into morbid mama disses, explicit throwback pics, and full diss tracks filmed raw in dimly lit parking structures surrounded by supercars, the answer lies in that one initial violation that nobody saw coming but everybody felt when it landed.
Telling people to keep his name out their mouth. 50 been a menace on the internet since the internet started.
You're far from alone. This saga veered into one of the most unhinged detours modern hip-hop has ever taken. The roots stretch way back, long before any live rants or viral meltdowns. T.I. had been gunning for that 50 Cent Versus clash ever since the platform exploded during the 2020 lockdown, and this wasn't casual chatter. He was dead serious, relentlessly campaigning for it. He kept tagging 50, throwing direct challenges, itching to square up against the G-Unit boss, the Queen's legend, the architect of Get Rich or Die Tryin'. T.I. was convinced his own discography could stand tall bar for bar, smash for smash against 50's, and the receipts backed him up hard. 11 studio albums stacked with certified bangers like What You Know, Live Your Life, Whatever You Like, Swagger Like Us, Bring 'Em Out, Rubber Band Man, Big Things Poppin'. That's a heavyweight arsenal packed with street anthems and radio dominance. Yet 50 Cent flat-out ignored the bait every single time. No interest in 2020, none in 2021, and zero appetite by 2026. The friction just kept building quietly, simmering under the surface until it finally detonated years later into the most chaotic personal war the culture's witnessed in ages, especially once deceased parents got dragged into the crossfire. T.I. didn't let up either. He showed up bold as hell at the Atlanta premiere of 50's BMF series, grabbed the microphone in front of the crowd and called him out live on the spot. 50 just chuckled, brushed it off, and kept strolling. Fast forward a couple years, T.I. hopped on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson and reissued the challenge loud for the entire planet. Every single time T.I. pressed, 50 pulled the exact same maneuver, full troll activation. He'd unearth ancient crime stoppers footage, blurry courtroom clips, whatever dirt he could dig up, then flood Instagram with savage captions like "Keep my name out your mouth" or "No Versus, let's run the stay away challenge instead." Classic 50 playbook: sidestep the real smoke, deflect with memes, weaponize humor, twist the narrative, and stay firmly in control of the spotlight without ever engaging the actual music. And the craziest part, it worked like clockwork every damn time. Most artists in the game still haven't cracked the code on how to neutralize that brand of slick, low-effort psychological warfare.
We know how he do. But King took it to a whole different level of disrespect.
But then February 22, 2026 arrived, the exact date the powder keg finally detonated. T.I. appeared on $1 million worth of game and declared flat out that he'd completely lost all respect for 50 Cent after years of him dodging the Versus showdown like it was poison. This round, though, 50 Cent didn't settle for his usual meme barrage or sarcastic quip. He went straight for the jugular. He uploaded that humiliating photo of Tiny Harris and boom, the spark finally kissed the dynamite. T.I. refused to swallow it quietly. True to form as a battle-tested artist, when the disrespect crossed into sacred territory, he didn't waste time venting online. Within the next 24 hours, he locked himself in the studio and unleashed 2 savage diss records back-to-back. Nah, I said I wanted 50, that's what I said. He Don't Want No Smoke, though, dropped on the 22nd, followed by The Merciless War on the 23rd, with Right One hitting right behind it, both crafted by producers Lil K and Ob. Those tracks were pure venom. T.I. held zero punches, every bar sliced like a razor, every verse dug deep into old wounds. He even branded 50 a 5, a sly, brutal dig that sent social media into a non-stop frenzy. At that moment, the whole Versus debate evaporated. This was no longer about catalog flexing or platform battles. It had become deeply, irreversibly personal. The rift between these two rap titans had officially crossed the point of no reconciliation. T.I. came out swinging wildly, firing at anyone orbiting 50's circle. He painted him as a small man hiding in a big shell, and even dragged 50's ex, Daphne Joy, into the fray with pointed hints about her rumored past connections. Those lines weren't clever wordplay, they were raw, vicious, gut-punch attacks delivered with zero remorse.
If you ask me, it's a myth. You got the South Prince, in a way, T.I.'s son, going at a billionaire mogul.
T.I. was rapping with a fire fans hadn't seen from him in years, and the culture went wild. Everyone with a mic, a podcast, or a comment section had something to say. Charlemagne the God was one of the first to speak up. He didn't hold back. He music said plain and simple the blame was on 50. According to Charlemagne, T had never music disrespected him in the first place, but 50 took things personal for no real reason.
Because he felt like 50 was trying to play his mama like she wasn't a legend.
Another voice on the same show echoed what plenty of people were quietly thinking. This clash never needed to spiral this deep. Then Charlemagne thought God nailed the unspoken truth ringing through hip-hop. He flat out said two grown legends like T.I. and 50 Cent shouldn't even be locked in this kind of childish war. He wished they'd just sit down man-to-man, hash it out privately, and keep it dignified. At the same time, he made it clear he completely got why King Harris erupted the way he did. No self-respecting man stays silent when someone drags his own mother through the mud. Not everyone stayed that even-handed, though. DJ Academix rolled up with zero neutrality, treating the whole thing like a scored boxing match where 50 Cent was dominating 4-0. In his eyes, 50 wasn't even competing on the same field. T.I. kept circling back to Verza's dreams while 50 was dismantling character, landing blows that actually stuck and left bruises. Academix insisted the fight had long left music behind. Now it was pure ego status, and who could steer the public story in front of millions watching live. He didn't mince words either. He called King's deceased mother bars, holy shit levels of shocking, something you rarely hear even in the dirtiest rap wars. He highlighted how insane it was for a young upstart like King to stand toe-to-toe with a billionaire empire builder like 50, a matchup that looked wildly uneven on paper. That take exploded online instantly. Southern fans, especially T.I.'s diehards, swarmed Academix, accusing him of blatant New York bias and riding for 50. Then Joe Budden stepped in on his podcast and delivered one of the most level-headed breakdowns yet. He openly saluted how T.I. and King stood firm for their bloodline, dubbing it the ultimate family flex and calling that kind of ride-or-die loyalty almost extinct these days. Joe even labeled T.I.'s diss tracks the perfect cheat code against 50, because if there's one thing 50 has never mastered, it's handling a real musical counterpunch. He broke it down. 50's trolling thrives when opponents get emotional and fire back on socials with memes and rants. But when someone hits the booth, records actual songs, and drops razor-sharp bars, 50 suddenly looks lost for answers. According to Budden, T.I. flipping the script to music instead of memes had 50 visibly rattled for the first time in forever. Still, Joe threw up a massive warning flag everyone needed to see. Had this already gone irreversibly too far? Once deceased family members get pulled in, he said, there's almost no road back. Reconciliation becomes a fantasy. Meanwhile, Angela Yee dissected the entire saga on her platform with her signature calm precision, mostly neutral tone, but crystal clear timeline of how fast a simple Verza's debate morphed into something uncomfortably personal. She noted King wasted 0 seconds jumping in after 50 reignited the Harris family drama with that tiny post, then dropped a subtle gem most overlooked. 50 had quietly started scrubbing every T.I.-related post from his Instagram. Fans caught it immediately and whispered he might be backpedaling now that things felt way too real. Over on Nightcap, Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson, the same pair who unintentionally poured fresh gas on the fire by hosting T.I., broke down 50's tiny jab, King's volcanic clapback, and the million-dollar question everyone was asking. Is this about to leap off screens and turn into street-level consequences? They kept the vibe fun and entertaining, but the undercurrent of caution was unmistakable. This had outgrown rap beef and social media shade. It was now raw, intimate, and legitimately risky. And that's exactly the temperature right now. As of February 26, 2026, King Harris's diss Made Man is rocketing up streaming charts, with fans hailing it as his official arrival moment. T.I. hasn't eased off either. He's still teasing fresh rounds aimed square at 50, signaling this war is nowhere near finished. 50, classic style, wiped his page of T.I. traces but keeps tossing sly indirect shots and coded captions to stay in the game. Boosie weighed in too, but instead of dousing flames, he accidentally ignited a side skirmish with King. What opened as a catalog debate has ballooned into one of the messiest, most unpredictable storms hip-hop has churned up in ages. The whole culture is glued to every twist like it's the season finale of an unscripted thriller nobody saw coming, but nobody can look away. Every comment section, podcast mic, and barbershop cipher keeps circling back to Boosie's core question. When you drag a man's deceased mother into rap beef, where the hell do you go from there? Disrespect flies daily in this game, that's baked in. Rappers test boundaries, swing wild, push every edge. But a handful of lines once crossed have no undo button. No late-night call fixes it, no mediator patches it, no staged photo op erases it from memory. Pull someone's late mama into the fray and it stops being bars or beats, it becomes blood-deep personal. That kind of wound doesn't heal with time. Everyone tangled in this. King, T.I., 50, even Boosie knows on some level there's no clean exit from this depth of violation. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. This started over music supremacy, and somehow ended up a brutal masterclass on pride, family, loyalty, and the real invisible fences in hip-hop's so-called code. Now the world waits for the next move. But one truth stands unbreakable. This chapter is nowhere near closed. So tell me, what's your read? Did King overstep, or did 50 light the match first by crossing into family territory? Drop your take below, smash that like, and stay tuned. It's only getting wilder from here.